Alright, what is going on, guys? Welcome back for a new video. Unfortunately, I have to do a mea culpa because I was so tired and I was so exhausted that when I set out film and set out the camera, I did not realize that the angle was wrong. So basically, you cannot see my face. I'm walking on the treadmill while talking, and the video is not set up properly. So let's just say that this is going to be a podcast and you do not need to watch your screen. You just need to listen to me. You can do whatever you want while listening to the video. You can do your chores, you can do your drive or walking to the gym or walking to work or coming home. Just hope you enjoy, and I apologize again for the inconvenience. Hello guys. Today we're going to talk about the bad side of a prep. Because today I did not want to go out of bed. I did not want to eat what I have to eat. I wanted to eat 3 times more. I did not want to work. I did not want to train. I definitely do not want to be on my treadmill right now to do my steps. Even though I really like walking, I'm tired. I look amazing, and I know, but I'm tired. Really. So I would like to take this opportunity of video to talk about the truth and maybe what's hidden from you guys with a preparation. Because you see my body changing, you see how I'm getting leaner, you see how I'm getting more and more impressive. You obviously know and understand that you understand that I'm definitely not in my best health, that I'm definitely not setting PRs every day into the gym. I'm going today to talk about everything there is to know about the prep, and that way, if some of you get motivated and curious and interested in maybe also one day do a competition or be a competitive athlete in bodybuilding, you will know. You will know the true cost, the true price of a preparation. Yet again, I have my little notes on the screen to not forget anything. So let's go. I'm not going to complain, okay? It's not a ranting video of me just, oh, it's hard. No. It's just about truth, telling you the truth, all right? So we're going to talk about the physical and mental health impact. We're going to talk about the health recovery. We're going to talk about the finance, the logistic, how months and months of prep culminate sometime to something extremely disappointing. We're going to talk about the organization of the federation and even about corruption. Because I have a shit ton of stuff to tell you guys about that. And even the judging, how the judging can be influenced by politics. Okay? I'm just being honest and conscious, all right? And I'm giving you the choice with this video. First thing, a prep is extremely hard on your body. We are not talking about a simple cut when you are overweight and you want to lose the excess amount of fat that you have on your body that could be more or less harmful for your health and even your appearance, your look, okay? Because bodybuilding is about cosmetic purposes. And I'm not talking about just being ready for the beach, okay? You have this, this expression about being beach ready, a beach body leanness, which is basically in between 8 to 10% body fat for men and something like 17 to 21% for women. So it's being lean, maybe very lean. For people that do not go to the gym, you are even maybe described as shredded, but you're not. Okay? You're good. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about going down to 4, 5, 6% body fat for men and something like 10 to 13% for women. This highly impacts your health. This highly impacts your body. In the good case scenario where you do the prep and you do not injure yourself, there are still plenty of things that will happen that cannot be considered good. If you have like a box, good, bad, and you have to choose, right? This is definitely not good. The first thing is that you're tired, okay? You're extremely tired. Working your normal job every day can be exhausting. how you feel on Thursday, Friday, just waiting for the weekend. You see that sensation? Imagine that every day. The moment you wake up, all the way up to the moment you will go to bed, to sleep. Every day. At every moment. Not only that, but a prep regarding the food is also extremely demanding. Because as you progress, you will have to eat less and less while remaining as active as you were before, sometimes even more. And there is also the hormonal impact and the immune suppression. Okay? There is a saying in French, we say les 3F, the 3F, faim, froid, fatigué, that you have during a prep. Okay, not a cut, a prep. And that could be translated to, hey, you know what, we can do it in English, I'm pretty sure. Faim, froid, fatigué means you are famished, you are freezing, and you are faim, froid, fatigué. See, my brain is not braining. Faim, froid, fatigué. And you are famished, you're freezing, and you're fatigued. Okay? So you also have your 3F, guys, in English. Well, there is no going around that. You can, of course, be extremely smart and optimize as much as possible everything, but you cannot go around this. You will be much more sensitive to temperature, okay? So if you are doing this during summer, well, good for you. If the competition is at, the end of the year, for example, during fall or even winter, you're going to be extra cold. It's just going to be a fact. You're going to be tired, even if you're an influencer, even if you have a shit ton of real estate, and you can have a 10-hour night of sleep, and you can even nap midday, you're going to be tired. And you're going to be hungry. Even if you optimize on fibers, even if you optimize the meal timing, even if you optimize the supplementation, you will be hungry. And yet, you will have to follow through. But it's still going to impact you. And of course, the body follows the mind, but the mind follows also the body. So all I just told you will also dearly impact how you feel, your mindset, your mental health. You will be extremely sensitive to everything. You will be cranky. You will be, how to say it, hungry, when you're hungry because you're hungry, right? You will be much more tipsy. You will be basically extremely sensitive and much more emotional because you will not have the capacity to think what you were originally thinking in your day-to-day life with your normal resources because you have none. Your resources now are so diminished that even functioning normally, having a normal life is hard. Okay? And I'm not telling you that to impress you. Okay? I'm not telling you that because there is a drama factor. It's just a fact. Every single athlete that has done the preparation, whatever the context, whatever what was at stake, whatever if it's a local show or Mr. Olympia, the moment you really do this thoroughly, there is no way around it. It's going to be hard. It's going to be gruesome. And let alone what I just told you, this is without counting for the human suppression and the injury risk increase. Because if your body has less resources, you do not recover as well. So you're at risk as much more injury. Both the snap city stuff, tearing a muscle, bulging disc, snapping something, whatever, or just, the overuse thing, which in our case is more like under recovery thing. So think tendinitis, basically. Arthritis, stuff like that. There is also a physiological aspect about being solo in terms of body fat, because right now, honestly, guys, I have no way to do a DEXA scan now. But honestly, I'm pretty sure I am at 6% body fat, possibly a bit lower. Many of you will say, oh no, that's not possible, and the DEXA, blah, blah, blah. Bro, at 8 weeks out, I was at 8%. I know it. All right? I am currently filming that 1 week away. I have striation on my glutes everywhere. I have veins on my stomach, whatever if I flex my abs or not. These veins go down to my pubic area, and then they keep going down to my knees. All right? If I start to speak too loud or squeeze my neck too hard, I have veins popping on my forehead everywhere. My cheeks are hollow, not just because I have a square jaw. They are hollow because there is nothing here anymore. If you think I look 40 right now, just you know, I am 30. And many of you right now, just tell me in the comments, please. If you think I look my age right now, let me know. Because pretty sure that right now I look like a homeless guy. Okay, face-wise, not the body. But face-wise, I look like a homeless guy who is about in his 40s. Okay? That's both the stress toll on my body overall that you can see on my face. You know, I'm not, and also, you know, the tired marks, etc. And the fact that I'm so low in terms of body fat. Being so low in terms of body fat will also impact what we call essentials or primordial fats. For example, I feel much more underneath my feet when I'm walking because under your feet, you have little cushions of fat. Okay? Literally, you have cushions of fat on your hand and under your feet. And I lost them. When you prep, you are going so low in terms of body fat that you lose them. So when I'm walking right now, I can feel the bone of my metatarsus. Okay? And my feet are also a bit smaller. I'm wearing 45 shoes. I think it's 11 size in US. Right now, I'm 44. Okay, it's like my feet is as long as normal, but it's much thinner, right? Same thing for my hand. My hands are normally bigger. You know, like they are so thin right now, like they look emaciated, you know, just like my face. If it were not for my muscle, I would be extremely skinny right now. Okay? And it's not me, right? It's the standard. Every competitor will have that. There is also fat around your joints, like the knees, for example. There is the offer fat, which literally acts as a suspensor, you know, and shock absorber. You lose them. Same thing in your elbow, same thing in your shoulder. Even in your back, in your mid-back, there are some muscles that are all glide up together, and they're supposed to glide thanks to aponeurosis, but also thanks to fat. And I actually have had mid-back tension and tightness. I went to see my physiotherapist, and I basically had 3 muscles glued together, and I was feeling it, you know, when I was doing my back. It's like I was not able to unstuck my shoulder blade, so even in posing, I was a bit limited sometimes, and I did not understand why. And it's because I literally 3 muscles glued together. Why was I glued together? Well, first, because I'm training extremely hard. Second, because I go quite heavy on my rows. And third, because there is no fat anymore. And while they were correctly placed and moving together prior, now there is some adherence, both because of the muscle tightness, the muscle soreness, the cut, basically the prep. So I literally had muscle glued together just under the shoulder blades, just because I do not have fat anymore that is helping them move normally. And I have also quite depleted glycogen-wise. So glycogen, for those of you who do not know, is basically the fuel of your muscle. And there is also the hepatic glycogen, which is the fuel for your liver. Okay? So all of that to say, physically-wise, a prep will crush you. It will, period. And you have to withstand it. There is no way around it. There is no secret. There is no magic pill. There is nothing. You will be hungry. You will be cold. You will be exhausted. And you'll have to do it. Like that. I have no coach. A note on about that. I have no coach. I'm prepping myself alone. But something that can happen during the prep is that your coach is basically a dictator. And he will make it even harder for you to prep by doing endless amount of cardio, endless amount of training, and crash your diet. Currently, I'm eating 2,000 kilocalories. For those of you that remember when I was into the mid part of my lean bulking, I was at about 4.5K calories. So I'm basically eating half less at the end of a prep than I'm typically eating during a lean bulk. All right? And that's the price. Okay, that's just the price. It's normal in a prep. But there are guys or women, the coach, he made them eat 1,200, 1,400 kilocalories, 2 hours of cardio every day, daily training, sometimes 2-a-day training. That's bullshit. I need to talk about that a bit later, I think. But yeah, sometimes the coaches, regarding this whole physical impact thing, they do not even help. They do not help at all. Now onto the mental aspect and emotional aspect of things. You are basically, you and your body, under constant stress, okay? There is a constant stress of doing everything as you normally do, okay? That's your normal life, your job, your personal life, okay? And then you have to add up all the things around the prep. You cannot miss a meal. You cannot miss a training session. You cannot miss a cardio session. You cannot miss whatever. However, what you can miss is the restaurant with friends, going out with friends or family, the dates, the restaurants, the movie theater, all these things, clubs at night, going into vacation, little holidays, all of that you have to miss them because they're going to hinder your prep. They're going to hinder everything because you will probably not be able to eat as you're supposed to. You will probably not be able to train as you're supposed to, and you will probably not be able to do your cardio or your NEAT as you're supposed to. And in a prep, this is just not acceptable. You have to do the things how you're supposed to do them. So if you're doing a prep, by the way, a prep is as short as 3 months, okay, and as long as 8 to 10 months, depends, really depends, about what's at stake and how good your body is responsive, how advanced you are, etc. But yeah, during this prep, you have no life, no social life. You do not go out. You do not do shit. Training, cardio, meal. That's it. And you work. That's about it, okay? Nothing else. And all of that is extremely taxing, of course. All of that is extremely unfair. It's unfair for you, and it's unfair for the people around you. But that's the price, and there is no going around it. Yet again, there is no shortcut, there is no secret, there is no way to bypass that. Even if you are enhanced, because obviously right now I'm talking to you as a natural bodybuilder, I'm talking to you about doing natural bodybuilding competition, but even for enhanced guy, there is no magic pill that you can pop that will make a restaurant, an ice cream, or a McDonald's just go away. Doesn't exist. So even if you're enhanced, you have to be, maybe you have more room, margin for error than the natural guy. But even then, you will have to stress still about every gram with your meals because you will have to weight them, all of them. There is no eyeballing because you cannot leave chances. You cannot leave anything to luck or just, we'll see. The stakes are too high. Or, if you really care, if you really do the prep 100%, if you want to do it 50%, you do your thing, obviously. But if you're really serious and committed, you will weight every single meal, and they will, if it says 200 grams of rice, it's 200 grams of rice, not 202. You will most likely be isolated because of all of that. And isolation is extremely stressful and hard on the human mind and on the emotional level. We are not meant to be isolated. Very few of us are. We are social animals. It's going to be even more wrecking to be like that. For you, yet again, and the people around you. Even if they are supportive, even if they do understand. Because that's the thing too. If you have people around you, best case scenario, they do understand. They're here every day. They call you. You can see them in person. They support you. They love you. They really make you feel like they're here and that you're not alone. It's amazing. It's amazing. But worst case scenario, you're alone. You cannot talk to even a friend. You are not in a relationship, so you have no one to help you with meal prep. You have no one to maybe massage you or cuddle you when you are very tired at night, when you feel like giving up. Or worst, you have someone. You talk to them about the whole thing. They say, yeah, okay, I get it. They do not get it. I have lived that, twice. So it's even worse because it's not that you have no one, it's that you have people, but they do not are good company. They stress you out even more. They exhaust you even more. They do not understand, even though you are pretty clear and pretty open about, what's going to happen, what you need them to do, what you need them to not do, and, just to prepare themselves and be there. It's even worse, right? So all of that will create mental fatigue. And the more you get fatigued, the less you become tolerant of everything. Just watching the TV and having the news that are obviously always about fear and guilt and everything that is bad in the world and stressing out, you will not be even able to listen to it. So you will be left in the loop. Maybe some of you like to watch the news or know what's happening in the world. You will not be able to do that in a prep. No more. Maybe you like to have a group chat with the friends, and maybe they do video game sessions, maybe not every night, but a couple of times a week. You will probably miss one or two because you're just too tired. Even playing video games that is supposed to be relaxing could be so taxing for you, for your brain, that you're not able to do it. Same thing if it was about, meeting them outside, playing soccer, playing football, basketball, I don't know, anything, really. It's going to be too exhausting for you too, maybe. Maybe not at first, but then it's going to slowly but surely creep up. And then yet again, how good are the people around you? Are they pretty understanding? Or are they going to be like, oh, you changed. We don't want to see you much more because you changed. This stuff, bodybuilding thing, What's also going to happen, I'd say, really, if you're really committed and serious, it should be right from the beginning. But as you grow closer and closer to the day of a show, you're going to have more and more tunnel vision. So the thing is that not only what's going around you will not be something that you will be able to withstand and care about, but more and more so you will just have like a tunnel vision. So what's going to happen is that maybe your friends have bad days too, like everyone. Maybe if you have a girlfriend or a boyfriend, they also have maybe a hard day or a hard time currently, for whatever reason, right? For a family, same thing. You will be so tired, you will be so exhausted that you will not even have a mental and emotional capacity to care because you will be in survival mode. You're so tired, you're so deep inside the prep that you are not able to care. You're disconnected. You have still some part of you, of course, that care. But for most of the time, you'll just be out there, in your mind, thinking about everything you have to do, the next meal, the next training, the next posing session, the logistic, the organization. And it's going to be even harder and harder for you to be there for the people around you, whichever they are. And of course, it's going to impact your relationships with them. Because maybe you will forget things. Maybe you will be much less free and presently here for them. And maybe you will also not care much about some stuff that you're supposed to. And maybe while prior you would be listening to them for 5 minutes and then being quite thorough and comforting and, just a good person. Now you'll have a pretty 0 to 1 logic, problem solution, right? Sometimes people do not want to be listened to just to have a solution to a problem. Most of the time they already know what they're supposed to do. But they want someone here to let them know they are listened and that they are valued and that they are not alone. Yet again, we are social animals. we fear loneliness, we fear solitude. Even if we need our dose, of just us with us in a safe space, it can be your place, it can be wherever. We want our cocoon. And it's going to impact your relationship. Sometimes even if you let them know about it. Competitive bodybuilding, guys, is an extremely selfish and egotistic endeavor, amateur or pro. And a prep for a competition is the epitome of that. And that's a fact. So maybe you're thinking, okay, maybe he's exaggerating because, well, all the athletes that are going to do the preparation with me, that are going to prepare for the same show, they will understand, right? They do the same thing. They will understand, surely. They will be extra positive and supportive, right? Right? There is something extremely toxic about competitive bodybuilding, and that's the athletes themselves. As I just told you, the whole thing is quite chaotic already, right? Doesn't sound like it's very healthy, right? Now imagine 200 people doing exactly that. And they're supposed to be against one another. Maybe not all in the same category, all in the same division, because there are height and weight and subdivision. Like you can do classic physique, you can do open bodybuilding. The men will not be against the women, right? But still, you will see them when you meet them directly the day of a show or days before. People will be looking at you. They'll be gauging you, They'll be trying to, oh, he has nice calves. Oh, lax hamstring. Oh, he's quite lean. Oh, he's quite very lean. It's 1 month away, the guy is shredded. And if they have a friend or a coach right next to them, this type of behavior. Maybe you think I'm exaggerating, but I'd like you to remember, or like you to know, if you never knew. My first competition was Musclemania 2014. It was in October, Paris. I was in junior bodybuilding. I did not know I was supposed to have an orange dark tan. The seller, actually I went to a shop. The seller was actually a coach that trained 2 athletes for the same show. He not told me. He gave me a bad one that was gold. So I was golden. And I did not know I was supposed to shave my forearm. No one told me. And it was a supposedly natural show. It's Musclemania. So I was just against just guys, So my first ever competition, some of you may scratch and try, oh, he took 4th. Yeah, 4th out of 4. My first show was a total disaster. And there were 250 competitors. I saw the behavior time and time again. Because then in 2015, same thing. 2016, same thing. 2017, same thing. 2018, same thing. 2019, same thing. And guess what? I did a polygraph. I'm going to talk about that in another video for this prep. But basically, I went through a test, a lie detector. So I had a rendezvous at a specific spot, and all athletes were supposed to come. And so I saw some of them. Of course, I have a little, I'm not going to say I'm famous, but, I'm quite famous-ish. I have a little notoriety. Everyone was looking at everyone. And not like in the good kind. Not like, good job, bro. More like, trying to scan you under your clothes. So yeah, even the people that are supposed to be in the same boat as you, even the people that will also prep, that definitely know right there, but also into their flesh, how hard it is, they're not going to support you. Do not even dare to ask advices or to ask for support with them. They might be polite. They might be totally correct in front of you, but you cannot trust them. And we've seen them, we have seen that, you can just browse onto forums, whatever the forum, whatever the time period, there will always be competitors that will screw over one, even when sometimes it does not benefit them, but maybe a friend or someone else. It's an age-old thing with competitors. The moment there is a competition, moral is automatically questionable, okay? And you're diving straight into that. Yet again, it's a fantastic experience. It's great. for many reasons, because you're going to measure yourselves. You're going to prove to yourself. Competition it's primitive. It's inside of us, especially men. We like to prove ourselves. We like to prove ourselves to the world, but also to ourselves. I'm able to lean out, to be peeled at 6% body fat. Can you? No, you can't. I can. I'm able to do a prep in 3 months and go from this to this in 3 months. Can you? No, you can't. I'm able to do this. You can. No, you can't. It's booga booga, But it is what it is. So competition has its perks. It also has its downsides. And in bodybuilding competition, you see a shit ton of downsides compared to maybe something like powerlifting, Like I've heard, powerlifting is quite, follow. Do you pass the lift or you don't? Do you pass your weight class or no? It's quite follow, Even if, of course, there is some toxic trait, I'm sure. Same thing in strongman, in CrossFit, weightlifting. There is always a way to have a perverted approach to things. But in bodybuilding, it's really heightened, I think. Really, really heightened. Because it attracts extreme personalities. You cannot be right into your mind and do these things, right? It's also because of the time, okay? The modern times and the standard of the competition. Because maybe I should have started by this. At first, bodybuilding was a body pageant. So you had men that were healthy, that were handsome, that were fit and athletic, that would be noted by both men and women, by the audience and the judges, to determine who is the best looking. Keyword is best looking, right? And then with time, we evolved from that, where your skin glow, your pimples, your teeth, your hair, the white of your eyes, how you look, how you present yourself, the balance of a physique, and also what you could do with that physique, because there was like an exhibition act, okay, you're good looking, you're sexy, now show us what you can do with your body. And you had to do maybe like strength fit, posing stuff. That's where posing originates, like do handstand, gymnastic stuff, right? And then suppress that, and it's just about who is muscular. And then to show more and more muscle, you have to get leaner and leaner. So it's not just who is muscular and good looking, it's who is muscular and lean and good looking. And then steroids, and then so bigger guys. So then at some point, bigger and leaner guys, new drugs, bigger and bigger guys, leaner and drier guys. And then you have modern bodybuilding, where even naturals have to be extremely low in terms of body fat, which is definitely not healthy. It's not even about beauty and health anymore, vitality. It's about performance. And the performance is not just how much muscle mass you carry. It's not even about the posing anymore. It's about also how dry and how low can you get? How much can you withstand? Because right now, on a serious federation, natural bodybuilding stage, if you do not have striation into your hamstring, your quads, and your glutes, so for most guys it will be 7% max body fat, you're considered fat. You're considered out of shape, not conditioned. You realize how far we have come from the 40s with Clarence Ross, George Efferman, Steve Rees, now to today, where Alberto Nunes, 8 weeks out, is considered fat on the bodybuilding stage. But yeah, it is what it is. Speaking of which, let's talk about health. Okay, I have very specific notes here, so I'm sorry I'll be kind of reading, but I really did not want to go and spread myself around and maybe, not be too lousy with that, because it's key. It's very key. We basically have a shit ton of literature in a science about competitive athlete and bodybuilding. We do not have that much, but we still have enough to be totally sure about what I'm going to tell you, okay? So, health-wise, how does a prep impact you? Let's go. There is one study, it's one review from Brad Trenfield in 2023 that showed and found that several physical athlete case studies with competitors showed hypogonadal level of testosterone when they dropped or hit around 6 to 8% body fat at the end of a prep. There is one case study from Rosso and colleagues that followed a drug-tested guy with a male competitive bodybuilder over a 26 weeks period for prep, so half a year. And he went from 14 to 4 or 5% body fat over this period. So he dropped 10% body fat in 26 weeks. His testosterone level were in the low 900s, and they crushed all the way down to the low 200s. So hypogonadal, low T. There are many studies that show that men show a sharp decline. Yet again, it's often into the final month or 2 months of a prep, where the body fat is in those low single digits. So yet again, 4 to 6, 7% body fat. And that, the testosterone is going to be tanked, whatever what you do with the protein intake, the macronutrients, the micronutrients, the meal timing, the training itself, whatever. You're going to be crushed testosterone-wise. Okay? There is a cross-sectional study data from the NHNES that shows that men with very low body fat, we're talking about 8% or lower, will often fall at the end of at the lower end of the testosterone reference range compared to men that are into the healthy 12 to 18% body fat. Below 8 to 10% body fat, especially with caloric restriction, testosterone suppression in men is extremely common and very well documented. There is a study on military guys from the school, which is both high activity and low caloric intake, that shows that the testosterone can drop by 50% when the body fat approach 8%. And there is the reference. Men that have the same body fat but eating enough often maintain normal testosterone, suggesting that the energy balance and body fat together determine hormonal outcome. And all of that is because of your hypothalamic pituitary gland axis, so the HPG axis, and that's because of low leptin energy deficiency. So if you are energy deficient, your body go into survival mode and every hormone is crushed, testosterone included. So if your total testosterone is crushed, your free testosterone is going to get crushed. So your DHT is going to get crushed. So even the lower androgen on the hormonal stream will also get crushed. Meanwhile, the stress hormones, so cortisol, prolactin, and somewhat estrogen as well, they are going to spike up. That's why some guys literally develop secondary hypogonadism during a prep. It's temporary. It's just during the prep. But still. And if you are hypogonadic, you have hypothyroidism. The two are linked, okay? If you do not have enough androgen for the signaling, you also get crushed on your T3 and T4 because you do not have enough T4 anymore to convert it to T3, and the signaling of the T3 is impacted. So each time you are hypogonadic, you have hypothyroidism. The two goes in pair, always. Whatever if it is primary hypogonadism or if it is secondary hypogonadism, right? Because the thing is also that with a diet like that, we will not be able to produce as much cholesterol. And cholesterol is literally the brick material of your hormones, right? So if you do not have enough cholesterol, you will not produce enough hormones, you will not produce enough testosterone. It's math, right? And secondary hypogonadism would be in a case scenario where you still have enough availability with your cholesterol, it just does not convert anymore. So then you have elevated cholesterol, elevated stress marker, and your body is just trying to do its best to maintain somewhat of homeostasis while you're doing everything to, crush yourself. That's what a prep does to your health. And that's men. For women, we basically have the same, plus if they go too low in terms of energy deficit and hormone imbalance thing, they develop something called amenorrhea. They lose their period. They become infertile, right? Because they do not even produce ovulation anymore. And yet, same thing as men. This is basically the hypogonadism parallel with men. If a woman has that, the thyroid is crushed. And the adrenal gland are also totally wiped out. And the insidious thing about that all, guys, is that most of the time, because we are wired for this. When something is extremely dangerous to you, your body will do its absolute best to withstand and survive it. We are primed to prefer short-term survival compared to long-term survival, which is logical, right? If you are chased by a giant tiger, right, and you have to run, but your back is hurting and your knee is hurting and your ankle is stiff, you don't care, you have to run or you die, right? But then, after the run, you escaped the giant tiger. After the run, your back is fucked, and your knees are fucked, and your ankle is fucked, and now you'll be hurting for weeks. Why? Because the body primed up to survive this very short-term encounter, and who cares about the long-term? Here is the same. Your body is under an extreme amount of stress, in a very steep survival mode, but it has to sustain itself, and who cares what happened in a few weeks or a few months or next year, right? Or even 10 years. You have to survive right now. So something very insidious that can happen is that during the prep, you're tired, you're hungry, blah, 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 you're fine. But then the show happens, the competition ends, and you take the full effect of all the accumulated stress and fatigue. And so sometimes you're quite fine-ish, and every single problem just arrives weeks following the event. All of a sudden, everything comes crashing down on you. Because all of a sudden, your body is like, okay, I can relax. And then when you can relax, your body is like, hi, here is the tab. And the tab is very salty, as we say in French. Now we're going to talk about the logistic and organization. Prepping requires tight meal schedule. You require to have posing practice. You require to have training, a lot of it, cardio, even nowadays it's still, I guess, concerning because you have guys training extremely hard, dieting quite good. So 2/3 of the work, and then the posing, the presentation, they don't care. No, it's fine. Okay, weird. Because if you have a fantastic body and you do not know how to present or even show it at its best, why do you bother so much in the weight room? Right? Why did you diet so hard? You cannot even hold the pose. You cannot even be graceful on stage. It counts. That's why I give posing lessons. That's why posing is like a total entire part of a prep. And you have to think about all of this and schedule it, right? But then, obviously, the competition is not going to be just next street. So you have to travel. And there is something extremely vicious about traveling, and it is that it's stressful. It's stressful to schedule and organize the traveling, always, even when you're not doing a prep. You know, when you're stressed out to take the plane or the train, maybe you do not want to arrive too late, etc. But now imagine that just sitting for quite extended amount of time will often blur out your legs because of the cortisol, maybe the atmospheric change, just not moving. And so you will have water retention into your legs, right? It's a physical phenomenon. There is no way around it, okay? And you just have to do with it. What this means is that when you're doing a show, for example, the other side of the country, you have to prepare yourselves not to arrive the same day or the night before, and voila. You actually have to plan out to arrive a few days earlier, right? To have this whole cortisol thing go down, to have this water flush out of your body, to have the electrolyte balance come back to normal. And then you have a show and you're sure to be 100%. And that's why so many bodybuilders, top pro bodybuilders, when they travel somewhere for competition, is they arrive 1 week in advance, okay? When you're natural, I do not know if it's that important, because obviously the hormonal balance is not as using as much leverage on your hormones as naturals that when you're enhanced, still, you cannot just come out and take the car for 8-hour drive. You have to take the plane. That's why it's just 2 hours, and you have to plan out everything. So you have to also plan out the hotel or the Airbnb. You have to plan out the food. You have to make sure there is a gym around if you need to train, even if it's just for a quick pump. So there is the food, there is everything. And all of that costs money, right? It's a shit ton of energy and pressure on top of the prep as a whole, as an athlete. And then there is the money. And now we're going to talk about the financial cost, okay? I cannot give you a straight answer about that. But a prep is much more expensive than you think. First thing first, the food. You have to take as much high quality as possible. It's really going to pay dividend. There is no if it fit your macro. Fuck you. There is no if it fit your macro, guys. All right? You have to take organic, grass-fed, everything. As much so as possible. Okay? So it's always more expensive to do this than take Eco Plus food or whatever. Then there is the supplementation. Usually in bodybuilding, less is more. But for a prep, every tiny little 0.5% you can get is key. So you have to take not as much supplement as you can, but you probably have to double the dose of the multi. You have to be sure to take your creatine, your omega-3, your joint support, your collagen, maybe your melatonin to help you sleep. You have to take other stuff. And sometimes you have to increase the dose as well to extend the sheer amount of work that you have to give, So it's more money with a supplement. That's why supplementation sponsors are so big on the bodybuilding scene, because it makes that much difference. You at 95% on stage and you at 100% on stage can be a 3-place difference. Can be you top 1 or you top 3 or 4. And I'm not exaggerating here, guys. Then there is, for the enhanced guys, all the pharmacology, I do not have any idea how much it costs, but I have seen guys giving interviews saying that a Mr. Olympia prep can be as high as $8,000. So that's the thing. Then there is photo shoots, okay? Because you have to pay for your videos and pictures at the show. There is the tanning, okay? You can do it yourself and with people if they come with you. But if you wanted to be doing it by professional, you're in the cabin with a spray, you have to pay for that, right? You have to pay the federation fees, to have your athlete card, your license. If you do a category, it's a price. If you do 2 categories, for example, if you want to do bodybuilding classic, you have to pay 2 spots, so it will be more expensive, right? Federation prices are federation-wise. Some are cheaper, some are more expensive. But when you're an amateur, it's quite cheap-ish. When you're pro, there are apparently a pro card federation license that can be $2,000 just for you to be able to show up. So it's a business. See, it's very insidious. It's a business. If you have to hire a coach, you have to pay him. And a prep for a coach is extremely taxing because you basically have to do 3 check-ins minimum per week. You have to be talking every day to your athlete. The training and the diet will change extremely fast, right? So you have to pay a coach quite much more than like a normal coach for just, your training and diet normally. If you have a coach for just your training, you have to have a dietitian or a sport nutritionist for your nutrition. Same thing. It's going to be much more demanding for him, so he will ask higher price. If you have posing practice and you want a posing coach, you have to pay him. Again, as I told you, you have to pay for the traveling, you have to pay for the Airbnb, for the lodging, for the food. There is the special nutrition possible, because then there is a peak week protocol. So all of that, it's a financial cost. And quite perverse thing about that is that for amateur competition and even normal competition like pro competition, there is not much money to be made. I'm currently preparing a script about the business of bodybuilding. Some of you may be extremely shocked, but competitive bodybuilder are some of the poorest athletes there are compared to other pro athletes. When I won competitions, I would get a t-shirt, I would get a medal, a cup, sometimes a free protein powder pack, and that's it. Or if you are lucky, you have a little check. And if you are very lucky, this check covers a part or even the entirety of a prep. But really, if you really, really want to earn money as a bodybuilder, you have to be top 15 Mr. Olympia. You have to do 5 pro show minimum per year, and you have to win them to get each time the biggest check. And you have to have sponsors, etc., blah, blah, blah. So, yet again, the financial cost of bodybuilding is extremely high compared to even a gym bro, just you eating healthy, training at the gym, paying a gym, etc. you can double the cost, basically. Easily, even triple it. And yet again, I'm talking about my own experience and what I've seen, and I'm natural. For the guys that are enhanced, that have to do specific protocol, pharmacology stuff, whatever, with, like, I don't know how much compound, the price is just, it goes high exponentially. And that's the price of competing, guys. All of that for what? All of that for what, guys? The day of the show, to sum it up, you have months of sacrifice, at least 3 months, can be as high as 6 months, 8 months. You are at a maximum 15 minutes on stage. 15 minutes. So it's a shit ton of tension. There is the jitter when you are pre-stage, back there. There is the backstage tension because your one will be stressed and have a jitter and anxious about it. As I told you, guys will be probably looking like like that, or they will be extra positive. I hope they are. The installations themselves, when it's a very good pro show, they are very careful about the athlete comfort. When it's just like a local show, you are somewhere, it's most of the time either too hot or freezing. So then you have to account for that, to not be cold, but at the same time, you have to not be too sweaty, to let the tan dry on you, because it's basically a cream. It's cream that will dry on you. If it does not dry and you are sweating too much, it will, it will flow and it will ruin it. So imagine, perfect body, perfect diet. You have a tan, too hot, and then it just go slashing down on you, and you look fucked just because of a tan. Perfect. There is the waiting, which is always the hardest before a fight, before competition, before whatever. Anyone that have done any kind of match or fight or whatever, you know what I'm talking about. Well, you have that, even though it's just bodybuilding, you have that. And then there is, of course, the problem with some federation and politics, and that is the obvious favoritism. Okay? Let's just not say it does not exist. It exists. How many competition have you seen a guy win and he should not have to? How many? How many competition a guy arrived late, barely pumped up, bloated, water retention, not even a serious athlete, and he wins, or he plays quite high? How is that possible? And then you see the coach is actually a friend to half the judges. Oh, interesting. Sometimes the results are not purely merit-based, and it's a sad truth. It's just a sad truth. So then it's you. It's you and yourself. You have to be at peace with the fact that sometimes the result will not have the awaited, how do I say it? Yeah. Sometimes the result will not account for all the sacrifice worthy of a specific reward. And the thing is that you cannot do anything about it, because the moment you step on stage, you accept to be judged by other people. And of course, you have to be the biggest and the leanest and have the best presentation, the best flow, the best symmetry, whatever, for whatever reason. If the judges do not like your face, if for whatever reason the judges awoke that day and decided they wanted to prefer mass over leanness that day, or the reverse, they want shredded, peeled, anatomical sharp guy compared to the much more rounded, possibly bulky guy with much more muscle mass, you cannot do anything about it, because you are accepting to be judged by people you do not even know, that are supposed to be as impartial as possible. Most of the time they try, but you never know. And you have to be at peace with that. You have to be at peace with the fact that potentially you will be one of the best on stage, and you will end up like 5th out of 10 when you should have been like maybe 2nd, And when you ask for feedback, to get better, you do not even the feedback is like, what? Or you like density into the legs. What? Density into the legs? What does that mean? You have muscle or you don't. You are lean or you're not. What does density mean? Right? You lack some lat spreading. lat spreading. Like my lats are too small, right? No, lat spreading. Tell me in the comments what's lat spreading. So yeah, competition as a whole is good. It's good experience still. It's always good to compete. Maybe not in bodybuilding, but it's a good experience to do. So it can empower you really. It can really help you with your self-confidence. It can give you a shit ton of nice memories. It can also wreck you. You have to be mindful and aware of all of that. You have to be aware also that some coaches do a business with prepping athletes, crushing them. They do not care. As long as, some of them succeed, and then good luck with the aftermath. You need a supportive community, so if you are quite known on social media like me, you post a video, you have immediately people that will complimenting and support you, as long as you're not an asshole, so you can be extremely lucky, which I am. Thank you guys. You can also have people in real life around you, but you can also be extremely alone. You have to be prepared for that. You have to understand this could happen. And finally, you have to understand that maybe you're not cut out for competition because of your genetic. I do not have the studies, I do not have the reference, whatever. Some of you will not like this because it's like I'm talking out of my ass without references or evidence. But I'm just going to be straight up with you guys. Some of you will just not have a genetic. I don't know why and I don't know how, but I have seen guys backstage. They're 10-12% body fat. And they just can't lean out. They are not cut for competitive bodybuilding with the current standard. Men and women. Some people cannot push hard. Some people do not understand how to push hard. It is what it is. And that's just regarding training and diet, but there is also the skin quality. Some of you guys have fucked up skin. And it matters. It matters because this is how we look at you. This is how we will judge you, right? You see how some guys that are using steroids are fucked by acne and pimples and inflammation. Some of you are natural and have that. You think you're going to step on stage and no one is going to say something? No. There is the skin composition, the skin thickness, Some people are just veiny because genetic. Some people are flat because genetic. Some people are grainy. It's just genetic. Right? See if you have tiny clavicles and you have very wide hip bone. You do not have a V-taper. You are entering stage with a huge malus, right? Sometimes it is what it is. But most of the time is the unpreparedness and the reality check that you have the day of a show, or you realize that, maybe some federation, some event are quite low level. It's really much more because you like it and you're passionate about it. But there are some very serious federation where you have top caliber athletes, natural enhance, you have to be serious or you get crushed, even chained. You have to be prepared for all of that. You have to know about all of that. So I gave you just a glimpse and a thorough explanation of what I've lived as an athlete, even if I have a shit ton of other things to say. But I just wanted you guys to understand that it is extremely hard. I'm trying to keep it as positive and informative and useful for you. But please, if my videos give you the idea and the drive and the motivation to maybe one day try a prep, now you know. And please, take care of yourself. See you.